Hey, Ladybug. I miss you a lot.
In today's video, we're diving into a movie called Borderline. Watch out and take care. The movie begins with a quiet night, a luxurious home. Inside, Bodyguard sits at the table, lost in a puzzle. The house is peaceful until the doorbell rings. He opens it, and there stands Paul, dressed in a sharp suit, smiling like he owns the world. "Where's Sophia?" he asks. "I'm here to propose." Will's expression hardens. "She doesn't want to see you. Leave." But Paul refuses. "Sophia and I are meant to be together." Will stays firm. "Sophia doesn't love you." Paul chuckles. "That's what you think. You're just her pity project. Unlike you, I know the truth. She loves me." But when Will mentions the police, Paul's smile falters. He steps back. Relieved, Will closes the door and returns to his puzzle. Then the doorbell rings again. Will sighs and opens it. Paul is still there, but this time he's holding a knife to his own throat. "If she doesn't marry me, I'll end it." Will realizes something terrifying. Paul is lost in his own delusions. And worse, he thinks Will is Sophia. Thinking fast, Will plays along. "Okay, Paul, I'll marry you." Paul's face lights up. He lowers the knife, pulls his bride into an embrace. Then, without warning, plunges the blade into Will's back. Paul storms inside, roaming the house like he owns it. He tries on Sophia's perfume, drinks her wine, even bathes in her tub. Meanwhile, Will lies bleeding on the floor, barely clinging to life. In the distance, sirens grow louder. 6 months later, Sophia and her new boyfriend Rhodes are filming a home video, enjoying a rare moment of peace. Suddenly, Sophia's assistant, Kayla, interrupts. "Will's here." Sophia rushes to greet him, thrilled to see him recovered. She proudly shows him a puzzle she completed while he was in the hospital. Rhodes chuckles. "A missing piece, huh?" Meanwhile, Will visits his daughter, Abby. But she isn't happy. "Why are you going back? This job almost got you killed." Elsewhere, Paul's right-hand man, JH, receives a letter. A chilling message: prepare everything according to plan. Without hesitation, he loads a massive chest into his truck and drives into the night. That evening, Sophia and Rhodes head to a nightclub. As they dance, a breaking news report flashes on TV. 2 psychiatric patients have escaped. Paul and Penelope. Will races to Sophia's house, warning Abby to stay with Aunt Eleanor. Meanwhile, JH picks up the escapees. Paul introduces Penelope Penny as his wedding planner. At the same time, Sophia and Rhodes return home, where Will is already waiting. His message is clear: Paul is out there, and he's coming. Meanwhile, Penny and JH arrive at a church. Penny knocks on the door, playing the role of a helpless stranger. A priest opens the door. She smiles sweetly. "My car broke down. Can you help?" The priest hesitates but steps outside. "Remember him. He'll be important later." Back at Sophia's, Rhodes notices something strange: a list of famous men's names on her desk. His name is on it. A sickening realization hits him. Was I just another PR stunt? Meanwhile, outside, a security guard notices a large chest in the yard. As he investigates, the house suddenly goes dark. Sophia brushes it off. Power cuts happen, but Rhodes isn't convinced. Something feels wrong. Inside the security booth, Penny silently sneaks up behind a guard and lands a brutal low blow. Back in the house, Sophia and Rhodes argue. Furious, she throws him out. At the same time, Penny ambushes the guard, striking him down with a monitor. Now alone, Sophia locks the windows and doors, an uneasy feeling creeping in. As she moves through the dimly lit house, she notices something eerie. Remember that missing part of the puzzle? Well, it is not missing anymore. A stove burning that she doesn't remember lighting. Meanwhile, Rhodes finds the electrical panel and restores power. And then standing right behind Sophia is Paul. At the sound of his voice, she freezes. He apologizes for leaving, promising he's back to make things right. He tries to kiss her awkwardly. Seizing her chance, Sophia tries to escape, but the windows won't budge. Outside, Rhodes spots her struggling, just as Paul suddenly strikes her over the head. She collapses. Back at Aunt Eleanor's, Abby reveals a terrifying truth. Paul's obsession with Sophia began after his girlfriend's tragic death at one of her concerts. Unable to cope, he convinced himself that Sophia was meant to be his. At that moment, Will arrives, but the officer who was supposed to be standing guard is missing. Unaware of the lurking danger, he rushes Eleanor and Abby into the car. Completely unaware of what had happened just minutes earlier, the officer, who had been practicing his dance routine on the sidewalk, suddenly noticed that his bicycle chain was missing. As he tried to figure out what happened, JH crept up behind him, using the very same chain to strangle him before dragging the body out of sight. Now, Will leads Eleanor and Abby to the car, urging them to get inside while he quickly scans the sidewalk. Seeing nothing out of the ordinary, he gets into the vehicle, only to realize too late that the killer is already inside, holding his loved ones at gunpoint. JH orders him to drive straight to Sophia's house, where Paul is already waiting. Inside, Paul carefully tends to Sophia's wound before opening the door for Penny, who nonchalantly confesses that she has taken a life. Sometime later, Sophia wakes up in her rehearsal room, where Paul excitedly tells her that he's ready to be with her forever. She tries to talk sense into him, reminding him of his late girlfriend, but he ignores her, happily announcing that he has already booked a venue for their wedding. Realizing she has no way to escape, Sophia pretends to go along with it. She offers to show him around the house and the jacuzzi, but Paul just laughs. He's been here many times before. He already knows where everything is. Meanwhile, JH forces Eleanor to stop the car. He drags Will out and leads him to the roadside. Without hesitation, he shoots him in the back of the head. Then he gets back into the car and orders them to keep driving. At Sophia's house, Paul introduces her to Penny, saying that she's a big fan and also plays the piano. She dreams of performing a duet with Sophia. Paul leaves them alone and heads to the pool, relaxing as he celebrates his upcoming wedding. Later, he puts on a suit while Penny shows Sophia the dress they picked for her. The final part of Paul's disturbing plan? A ceremonial dagger. According to him, it will make sure he and Sophia stay together forever. Just then, JH arrives at the mansion with Eleanor and Abby. Paul greets them as special guests. Meanwhile, Penny insists that Sophia put on the dress. It turns out Penny has feelings for Paul too, but she's still happy to be part of the ceremony, even if she doesn't think Sophia is anything special. Seeing a chance, Sophia asks Penny to bring her makeup bag from her room. The moment Penny leaves, Sophia grabs a guitar, getting ready to fight back. But as the door opens, she swings and accidentally hits Rhodes instead. The impact knocks him out, and he collapses to the floor. Meanwhile, Paul excitedly tells Abby that she will be the flower girl at his wedding, and that a dress has already been chosen for her. Suddenly, loud banging and desperate cries for help come from inside a chest. Any guesses who could be trapped inside? It is the priest who is supposed to perform the wedding ceremony. At the same time, Sophia manages to wake Rhodes and quickly apologizes for hitting him. But before he can react, he spots Penny approaching. Without hesitation, he pushes Sophia aside, saving her, and takes the hit from a baseball bat himself. He falls unconscious once again. Sophia and Penny struggle fiercely, but their fight is interrupted when Penny notices a piano in the room. Out of nowhere, she asks Sophia to sing a duet with her. Seeing an opportunity to stall, Sophia goes along with it and starts singing. Surprisingly, Penny is incredibly skilled, and as Rhodes slowly regains consciousness, he watches in shock as Sophia throws herself completely into the performance. Then, without warning, Penny suddenly lunges at Sophia, trying to attack her. The fight spills onto the terrace, where Penny prepares to set Sophia on fire. But just in time, Sophia grabs a sharp metal rod and drives it into Penny's stomach. She then pours flammable liquid over her, ready to finish it, but stops herself, refusing to become like her enemies. Thinking Penny is no longer a threat, Sophia hurries back to help Rhodes. But Penny isn't done yet. She attacks again, forcing Sophia to shove her into the recording booth. Without wasting a second, Sophia throws a burning piece of paper inside, ensuring Penny can't escape. She then puts out the fire with a fire extinguisher. Meanwhile, Paul decides to check on his bride, realizing it's been a while since Penny started getting Sophia ready. At the same time, Sophia finds out that Paul has taken a child hostage. She tells Rhodes to wait for her while she tries to convince Paul to free the young child. So when Paul enters the room, he only sees Rhodes and, in his confused state, mistakes him for Sophia. His mind often plays tricks on him. At the same time, Sophia reaches the living room, where she sees the captives and JH keeping watch over them. Meanwhile, Paul proudly shows Rhodes a ceremonial dagger, a weapon that used to be given to warriors at their weddings. He promises to protect Sophia. In a shocking twist of events, Sophia's assistant finds Will. Paul's one-eyed friend had missed a shot, only slightly injuring the bodyguard. Now, Will is rushing towards Sophia's house. But when he gets there, the place is empty, except for an invitation that reveals the location of the wedding. At the church, Paul stands next to the priest, eagerly waiting for the ceremony to start. Sophia stands in front of him, but suddenly he asks her to sit down, saying today isn't her day. Shocked, she sits beside Abby. JH looks confused, but Paul assures him the bride is on her way. Abby pretends to scatter flower petals, just as Rhodes walks in, wearing Sophia's wedding dress. At that moment, Will also arrives and immediately steps in, acting as the father of the bride. He confidently leads Rhodes to the altar. Before taking his seat, Will secretly hands Sophia a small knife. The ceremony begins, and Sophia finally speaks up against the marriage, blaming herself for everything that has happened. But Paul ignores her, urging the pastor to continue. The priest declares them husband and wife. Paul kisses the bride, and Rhodes has no choice but to go along with it. But during the kiss, Paul suddenly stabs Rhodes. Sophia screams in shock as Will attacks Paul and his best man. Meanwhile, JH grabs Abby as a hostage, without even knowing what to do next. As chaos unfolds, the wounded Rhodes manages to grab Paul's dagger and stop JH for good. Sometime later, in Paul's mind, the wedding ends in a beautiful celebration. He and Sophia ride off together on their honeymoon. But in reality, the police have surrounded the church and begun their investigation. Seeing how much Rhodes was willing to sacrifice for her, Sophia decides to stay with him. Meanwhile, Will announces he is quitting his dangerous job. He can't risk his family's safety anymore. At that moment, Paul is being taken away in a police car. But he refuses to recognize the officer driving or the sirens wailing around him. In his mind, he and Sophia are still on their honeymoon. Reality creeps in now and then, but he quickly escapes back into his perfect dream.